Welcome to the Society Sucks podcast.
And today we will be revealing the top 5 regrets of the dying by a nurse of the name of Bronnie Ware. So we're going to introduce the first regret.
Okay. I guess I'll introduce it.
Yeah, you might as well.
I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Should I read the full, the underlining one too?
Nah, what are your thoughts on that?
Just the beginning?
Yeah.
I mean...
What are your thoughts on that?
I 100% agree. Yeah. I think we all do, growing up, especially if you don't know, you kind of tend to just do whatever, your friends are doing.
That's true.
Or even, mom and dad are doing, because you're kind of just seeing it, you don't know. Exactly. But I guess once you become older and just realize that you have an opportunity to change that, and if it leads to something that makes everyone else unhappy, but you get the most enjoyment and pleasure, obviously, morally,
boundaries,
I guess.
Nah, and that's what it says too. Yeah, about having the courage to do it, because I guess it does take courage to step outside the norm, step outside what's expected of you, because then you're living life for their validation,
exactly,
and not doing that make you happy.
See, that's really good too.
So, but yeah, the little caption underneath this statement.
Please read it.
A life lived for validation and acceptance is a life lost. Everyone has different soul lessons to gather before going home. We all have different questions and receive the answers we need to evolve as a soul. We all have different journeys to our way home. Many people get lost trying to copy others.
Wow.
That's a good one. And home being, back to source, heaven, whatever you want to call it. We all, go back someplace.
For sure.
And so we all have lessons.
You know what? That's actually really good. Towards the end, what it's talking about. Trying to copy instead of... I feel like... I guess you can copy someone's lifestyle and their way to live. But I feel like it's mostly aiming about, just being authentic to the individual you are.
Yeah.
And...
Because inspiration and copying are two different. You can get inspired by someone, but you still bring your own things to the table. You don't have to copy exactly what someone else does, or this person chose this career, and I'm gonna go do that exact same thing because maybe money. It seems like he's doing well, so you're just doing what everyone around you was doing, and then it's like, dang, this isn't actually what I wanted to do. I had my own different lessons and experiences to gather, and I just chose to copy everyone else.
Exactly.
So that's the first regret.
Sounds very hard. On to number 2, Harvey.
Number 2 is, I wish I didn't work so hard.
Dang, bro. Man, come on.
Yeah, come on.
This is no sleep gang, 24/7 grind. What do you mean, Harvey?
Let's get this bread. Well, I'm not saying it. Take it up with Bronnie Ware.
Bronnie Ware.
No, but
she's actually the author of the book.
She is the author of the book. But actually,
what's the title of the book, actually?
Let's see, actually.
It's over here in this last slide.
The top 5 regrets of the dying. A life transformed by the dearly departing.
So if you are interested in this and going full in depth, I definitely would recommend y'all read this. Because, these are pretty deep. And, we're kind of joking around about them.
Yeah, they're going to take some deep, diving.
But these are definitely, things to put into account and really put some thought on.
Yeah, because like you said, at first people might dismiss it and be like, nah, easy for you to say or whatever, but these are regrets of people that are in a deathbed. You are not in that position right now.
Especially
so you can't say.
Yeah. So she puts it in her point of view, and basically it's a memoir of what's been going on and what's happening. And she's a nurse that's been taking care of individuals on their deathbed. And I think you need to read the description for that. Exactly.
I should do that. We probably should have introduced the episode like that, to be honest, so y'all get more context, but here it is. So the description here says, as a nurse, please understand life is short. It is a privilege to share the most emotionally intimate and vulnerable moments patients and their families have during times of illness.
That makes so much sense.
Some people have no one, and you're the only person holding their hand while swallowing the big lump in your throat, letting them know it will be okay. Pride, ego, and unresolved conflict regarding petty things like materialistic items get in the way of what really matters. Many of us hold on to suffering needlessly. If you want to change the world, start by loving your family. Create a solid foundation, safe space, and nurturing environment. The world is hard enough. Your home shouldn't be a battlefield either. That way people don't have to grow up broken, lost, or bitter. I hope this brought some perspective to anyone that needed it. Never to underestimate you or someone's capacity for growth.
Wow. That's good, overall.
That's really good overall. That's powerful right there, because it makes sense. I mean, you want to have a solid, safe foundation with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends. Yeah, definitely.
I guess it does put you in like a point of view, like she was saying, as a nurse. So she's seeing this on a daily basis. She's experiencing this, and she's, you know, she's on the front lines, guys. Exactly. What we're basically trying to say, like, this is not, you know, just a random person.
No, yeah.
This is someone experiencing it daily.
Yeah, firsthand. And then, like you said, these are vulnerable, intimate moments between a patient and their families, and she's just seeing the departure, the effect it has, and
over materialistic, petty
the fact
shit.
that they had regrets and all this stuff, and it's just like, man, it's all for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters.
I think you should read the description too of the second one because I think that one puts a lot. Yeah, because it's easy
for us to say, being young,
like I was saying, you
might as well work hard and all that.
But there's a difference for sure.
It is. There needs to come balance, and because I'm not saying I wish I didn't work at all.
Yeah, no, hell no. I mean, you got to, and that's obvious. Come on.
Yeah, go ahead. So it says, this came from every male patient that Bonnie nursed. They missed their children's youth and their partner's companionship. Women also spoke of this regret. All of the men she nursed deeply regretted spending so much of their lives in the hamster wheel of existence.
Wow.
Work hard and rest hard. So it makes sense. Like, you spend all this time working, and it's like you miss out on certain things. You miss out on enjoying. You're not 100% there even when you're done with work. You're thinking about work
the next day, or even like when you have that time.
Yeah,
you're still on.
You're still distant mentally.
There definitely is a balance. I think this goes back to our episode about, you know, what is health, and they were talking about, you know, workaholic and balance.
Yeah. No, because there has to be balance with this kind of stuff.
Has to be.
You can't.
One can't outweigh the other. Exactly. And now, this leads on to the third one,
which Mario will be reading.
Okay, and the third one is, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. So what do you think about that, Harvey?
I guess a lot of us don't want to do that because it's like other people's opinions get in the way of that, or we don't want to seem vulnerable to people. We don't want to break down. It's like, dang, you're putting on this persona, you're putting on an act. It's like you have the mask on constantly. You have to kind of fight extra hard to keep it on when, you know, obviously this is a regret. You know, you're not gonna be caring about that on your deathbed. That's the least of your worries, what people think, or, you know, regardless of how you express your feelings.
Exactly.
You just built these walls around you.
And I think some people, like you say, it's like the feeling of being afraid to like speak up and I guess say what's on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that description kind of ties into, I'll read it really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Basically, pride builds walls. Fear builds walls. If you love someone, tell them. Many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settle for a mediocre existence and never become who they truly are capable of becoming. Many develop illnesses related to bitterness and resentment they carried.
Dang, it's all just being bottled in. It's crazy because it goes both ways for both good emotions or negative emotions.
Good or negative.
Yeah, if you bottle it in, if it just stays inside here, it's just like, dang, you're holding it in.
You know what? Now that kind of reminds me of both sides. I guess I always would say it's important to tell people that you appreciate them, especially while you're here in a conscious mind and we're living, and tell them that you appreciate them. It might seem like the simplest task, but it goes the longest way. And even when it says, like, even the bad side of things, you know, if you need to sit down and have a conversation about like serious things that you know might be a little tense.
Yeah, like, hey, I don't like the way you're doing this or the way you're talking.
You got to realize too, those moments are necessary. And if you're put in an uncomfortable situation where you feel like not knowing whether to speak up or not, and you think you should, but you're kind of afraid to, I think that's your opportunity.
Yeah, because if you don't say something as well, it's like you're letting them unknowingly treat you in a certain way or act a certain way.
Oh, that's very true.
Regardless of the situation, like you're not being your 100% self because you're too scared to confront.
They know now, right? They know now, oh, this person, they can tolerate me to this point.
Yeah.
And then there's this other person, oh, I can pass that line.
Yeah.
I pass that line.
And constantly feel like whether it's disrespected or like treated unworthy because you've never made your opinions voiced. You've never voiced your feelings to them, so how are they supposed to know?
What do you think about people saying, oh, like, I don't need to, you know, I guess waste my energy too. Or I don't even need to discuss that with them.
Well, I feel like, I've seen this firsthand too, because it's like you're dumbing yourself down because it's like you're still spending time with this person, and then when you go home or you stop hanging out with them, you're going to tell other people about, oh, I just don't like the way he or she does this, or man, when he says this. It's like you're talking shit, you're spewing all this stuff about them, and even mentally you know that you don't like certain aspects of them, and you're saying that to everyone else except the main person that should be hearing this stuff. So your message is never going to the right person. It's just more drama instead of just being upfront and honest and exactly. talking to the person, So saying it's not worth your energy, you're spending more energy telling everyone else about what the things you don't like instead of solving it from the root cause of the problem. If you want the things to stop, like the things that you don't like to stop, then tell it to the person that's making those things happen in the first place.
For sure.
So it should be worth your energy to confront it, take care of it at the source, hear out the other person, and then say, all right, nice. There we go.
Stop it.
Yep.
That's how it leads. That's good. Number 4.
Number 4 here is, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I mean, sounds pretty self-explanatory,
100%. But I guess sometimes, especially nowadays, considering we're in a pandy-wandy, or some would say panoramic.
Yeah.
And
it's easy to get caught up with
what's happening around work, maybe, or whatever.
So many other things that you just don't even find it worth hitting up the people around you, and you just kind of get caught up with life, and then you reach your deathbed and you're like, dang, all those good memories, all that, that's actually the only thing that really mattered.
For sure.
I was so concerned with what I was doing that I kind of ignored the people around me. And it's just like, dang, it's the fourth regret right here. So it's very real. Don't doubt it. If you have that feeling of, man, maybe I should reach out. Why not? What's the thing is,
it really does not hurt.
It doesn't.
And it's the littlest and the simplest thing that you can do. Yeah. And you never know what that could lead to, honestly. It could lead to so much.
Maybe this is your sign. Maybe you need to reach out to an old friend or reach out to someone and actually go hang out.
Speaking of that, if you have a friend right now that would take anything from this, go ahead, share it with them.
There we go.
Might as well comment, and subscribe as well, guys. Come on.
Exactly. Depending on where you're at, you guys that are watching, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. People that are listening, leave us a rating if you haven't already.
Yeah, there we go. We just need to throw that in, guys. Come on.
That'd be awesome, y'all.
Number 5, though.
5. Oh, unless you have anything. The description underneath.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, read that one. Let's go.
So the description under number 4 says it all comes down to love and relationships in the end. That is all that remains in the final weeks. Love and relationships. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you could even say, even in the final weeks, I guess that the only thing that really does matter overall, though. I
think so. You're not going to be concerned about money. Money doesn't matter at that point in time. You're dying. Like, you're for sure your days are being counted right now. Like, you're not that can't reverse age or illness or any of that, so you're just kind of
even in the description it was talking about how people I guess they get into arguments or scuffles, or they lose relationships or break relationships over petty.
Yeah,
it could be like money, it could be this or that, but
it's petty. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, and it's like, dang, I lost a relationship because of something that didn't matter. Of something that really didn't matter on my deathbed.
Damn, that hits hard, man.
That does really hit hard, right?
I guess you gotta take some time and really sit with these questions. And honestly, even ask yourself, are you abiding by? Are you trying to avoid these? Are you trying to,
Actually, I have a question for you then.
Okay.
So for the people that are sitting at home saying, I don't know, I just kind of like to say to myself, I've just been on my grind. I go to work, and I just don't really hang out with people. There's a lot of fakes out there. It's just, I don't know.
Oh man.
I just like staying at home. Like, I really enjoy my own company.
Yeah.
I just like staying at home.
I think that's important too, though.
Yeah.
It's solitude.
But
there's a balance.
They don't make the effort to make plans or do anything. Like, that's all they want.
That's very true.
Obviously, there's a balance. Everyone appreciates their own peace of quiet.
Everyone should, and if you don't, I think you should make that a priority.
Yes, but for people who just focus on that, what do you?
I would say, is it like the actual reason that obviously we all like to be with ourselves, hopefully, and I think that's what it should be.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's moments where you should spend time with those around you, not only to just be like, hey, we spent time together. But I guess that's your opportunity to show that you appreciate them. It's time. Time is the most valuable thing we have as humans. And, spending that with, people that you care about, I think that's the best thing you could possibly do.
And it's odd how it's called, spending time, because you're literally spending it on someone. That's that shows appreciation, because time being so limited, the fact that you're spending it on this other person, that shows a lot more.
For sure. That can be seen. You know what? That could be a whole episode, honestly, now that I think about it. What are you spending your time on, people? Because it could be like, are you spending time with your right friends, these right habits? Like, you have like a certain limit. It's like a bank account.
But it doesn't grow.
Yeah, it just stays. And now all you have to do is spend. All you get to do is spend with this one. Are you spending in the right places that are leading you to the best thing that you could possibly be?
And once you're out to about this much, you start to be more like, oh man.
Yeah, you're trying to be like this. Now you're trying to like conserve it. But you know, it's to the end. Well, I guess that's like a side tangent.
That is no. We should make an episode on that. That's actually pretty good because, like you said, you don't think about this kind of stuff.
Definitely don't. Even though it should be put into thought.
No, it should. You ready for number 5?
Number 5. Let's go.
Is it your turn?
Okay, yeah, I'll go. Last one, guys. Number 5. I'm just going to go ahead and read the description after, too. Okay. 5. I wish that I'd let myself be happier. Okay, I guess I'm going to go ahead and just read it. I was going to ask you, but then I was going to read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice. They stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. Their so-called comfort of familiarity flowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves. And that they were content.
Dang, but it's all a facade.
All a facade, guys.
It's all fake. Dang, I guess that ties into the other thing too, like about what you tell people about, being stuck and stuff like that.
That's true.
It's just you're just comfortable in the familiarity of your situation. You're never really willing to put more effort into things because it is a choice. When it comes down to it, it's a choice to get out of your room and go do something or get out of your comfort zone and try something new. But if you're constantly the person that just has the same surroundings, the same environment, the same patterns in your life, you never break out of that. It's no wonder you're constantly going to be in a state of sadness. When it says here that happiness is a choice. Like it takes effort to be happy. It's not just something that's gonna come your way
and one day you'll be happy.
One day you'll just be happy. Like, no, you got to put the effort in. Like, you got to meet happiness halfway. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get out there and actually do something about it, not just expect it to just fix your life up.
That's true.
No, that's a really good one.
Well, actually, something that said in here that I'm actually gonna read back that I feel like it kind of hits different. Okay, it's the fear of change that had them pretending to others and to themselves. So I remember listening to another podcast that was talking about the difference between being afraid and being in danger. So if you are afraid, then there's a possibility of something bad to happen, but you won't die, and that's what afraid is. So if you posting on social media, I'm afraid because of people's opinions, you're not gonna die. You'll be fine. So you're not in danger. If someone said, post this social media post right now, you're in danger of dying, then, you're in danger. You have complete right to be afraid and, because you're going to die if you don't. Exactly. But if you know that you're just afraid, then you can tell yourself, I'm just afraid. I'm not going to die. What's the worst thing that can happen? It's just an emotion. It's just a feeling. And you can decide whether that emotion or feeling has, power over you. It's literally by definition. And that blew my mind because it kind of switched my mindset and like afraid. Like, why would I be afraid to post a social media post? I shouldn't. I'm not going to die from it. It's not going to kill me. And you can literally do that with anything.
You can apply that to anything.
Going up to a girl, going up to a guy, going to this, going to that. Might be afraid, might be a little nervous, but like if I'm not in danger, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, that's literally true. The worst thing that can happen is you die.
That's true.
But if you're not put in a scenario where that even is a thing, then you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, and I think also it's a good point about you're actually just scared, but you're covering it up with things like, I just don't see the point in going. Maybe it's just not for me. Or I could do without that. You're missing out on things, but you're using those things really as excuses because you're scared. There's fear. Yeah, you just want to stay comfortable.
There's so-called comfort, familiarity.
Exactly. The familiarity. It's being broken. You're like, no, I want to stay in here. But not knowing that staying in there keeps you in that cycle of sadness.
And it leads... And another thing it was saying, too, that it leads into not only your emotional, but it leads into physical. So, maybe that one time you're like, oh, let's go work out. No, man, Never mind. I'm not feeling it. And then it can be a continuous pattern.
Yeah, and it's up to you to break that pattern. And it goes back to happiness being a choice. Like it might not be a direct, oh, I just accepted one thing, now I'm happy. It's like it can lead to other things. It can lead to you building some confidence in the gym or getting your dream body or, just it changes. It's like a domino effect. You can't just see things as like, oh, everything's just yes or no and it splits into two. It's like a continuous thing. You taking that first step out of the entire staircase is what's going to get you there in the first place.
For sure.
But if you never say yes to things, if you never get out of that comfort zone, if you stay in these familiar situations,
patterns, your
you're
habits,
be stuck in a loop for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. And that's literally what it was saying. You get stuck into those habits, those patterns that just become so comfort and familiar. You just like to be around what feels okay.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, right now, would you say that not really a side tangent, it goes right with it, but about jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that's a big part of your life right now?
Oh, for sure.
How did you overcome the little fear in there? What made you even want to pursue it?
Ooh, okay. I mean,
everyone's life, my bad. Everyone's like in their life situation comes, right? It pops up. Like life's trying to do something to you. Like, let's see if they'll give a different answer this time. Yeah. And maybe they'll just say, nah. And then just go back to the same loop. And life will throw another thing at you.
Life's trying to, right?
Put you in situations. So, like, for you, when that popped up, how'd you go about, let me just say.
Yeah, I remember in the very beginning, I would tell Harvey how, like, no, why would I? I'm going to get my ass kicked, I was literally thinking about nothing good that would come out of it. And but then I think the day before going to the official first class with Harvey, I'm going with no intentions. I'm just going to go in with a curious mind and let it be what it is.
No expectations.
No expectations. So I'm not like, oh, it's going to be this or that. So
that's what scares people.
And that's what scares you. It's the overthinking and it's the worst case scenario thinking that our monkey mind has a tendency to do. When worst case scenario, 9 times out of 10 will never happen.
Yeah.
But that's just how our mind leads, and it's for survival. Exactly. It's literally innately inside of us. Look at the bad. What could happen because it could lead to you dying.
And it's crazy because now it's part of like our routine. It's part of our life now, and it's something that we spend time on. We willingly want to make time for it, so it must be valuable to us. But we would have never found out how valuable it was if we would have just said, nah, it's not for me.
I think what cancels that nah, it's not me, is just going in with a curious mindset and letting it just be what it is and accepting it for that.
Oh, that's a good one right there. If you actually consider yourself an open-minded person, are you the kind of person that says, let me just go give it a try? Let me just go in there with an open mind, no expectations. Let me just try it out. And then you can form an opinion on it instead of saying, oh, no, I don't like it. I mean, I don't think that's for me. Give it a try first. Go give it a try and then see what you think. Because you never know. And that applies to anything. Go in there with a curious mind, stay open-minded, and actually give things a try. Otherwise, you might not be as open-minded as you think you are.
Ooh, that's really good. And I think we should end it because they actually had a full last one that's basically a tie to the whole thing. So the lesson of the whole thing. Okay, I'll read it. Okay, so the overall lesson is life is a choice. You will have free will with what's going on inside of you. Choose consciously. Choose wisely. Choose honestly. And choose happiness. Deep within, we long to laugh properly and have a stillness in life again. When you are on your deathbed, what others think of you is a long way from your mind. How wonderful would it be to let go and smile again long before you are dying?
Dang, I love that.
Guys.
That's powerful.
I guess if you realize like these things can be regrets, you can also take your power back.
That's true.
And realize I can prevent this now. I can stop this. I can, change my interactions not only with myself but everyone around me.
Avoid the possibility of regret. If you have like a little inch of doubt that, man, if I don't do that, like just do it. Just do it. Just go out there and give it a try. Because, like you said, you're not in danger. These aren't most of these things aren't danger. You're just out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like you said, that girl, that guy, now you'll never know where that could have gone. Now you're just going to have a what if. That's like a cemented what if for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So and you're just adding to this what if list, and now it's just cemented there because you've just started building up this list of regrets. Because you're really just scared. You're not in danger. Exactly. You were just scared to go do it. Instead of having yourself an answer. Instead of just having yourself an answer and cross off that thing off the what if list. Because you could have gone and answered and it wouldn't have been a what if.
And now you know. It's like a no. The thing is, people are scared of just no. Yeah. I'm okay.
it's better to have that now instead of just thinking, dang, what if it could
exactly.
It's just the no. If you get a no, then that gives you your answer. That's, to me, is better. That little moment of rejection is better than a lifetime of regret
For sure. I mean, because it just adds up over time. I guess you can, if you're afraid to do it with the tiniest things, imagine like bigger obstacles or bigger opportunities. You probably wouldn't even see it as opportunity. You probably see it as like, whoa, this is too big for me, man. Like, I can't even do that. Why would I couldn't even imagine that.
Yeah.
That's like, that mindset already is limiting you in anything you'd like to pursue.
It's a limiting belief, and it just gets reaffirmed the more you live.
So what do you think like people can do to like try to get out of that mindset?
Go out more, meet new people, surround yourself with people who are already doing those things, who are already saying yes to things, who are more adventurous, who are more open-minded. Because if you hang out with the same group of people that are closed-minded, you're just gonna be like, oh, well, they're doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm
That's
fine.
so
I'm
true.
okay.
That's so true.
But these people are bound to invite you somewhere, tell you to go somewhere and go try new things. You're gonna say yes to them.
And I think it's also important, if you want to keep it as minimal as possible, to like first step in wanting a change is just talk to like a random stranger. And this gas station clerk you go to, just ask about his day, spark up a conversation. You never really know where it can lead to. Yeah. Anyone, literally anyone on the street, a stranger. Obviously, don't be creepy, but nice. But like, you understand, like these little tiny conversations, they add up. You start to build confidence. There might be awkward moments, but at the end of the day, like, who gives a fuck?
Exactly. And actually, yeah, that's a good one too. And I feel like, go ask an older person, you know.
They'll give you good advice.
Yeah. Go talk to an older person, because they're usually just waiting to spew out their life experience or advice.
Exactly.
Yeah, their experiences in life, you know. And you just got to go up there and ask them, be like, you know, hey, or like literally, I've done this before too. Like, hey, what piece of advice would you give a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, however old you are, what piece of advice would you give for me? Or what's something you wish you knew earlier? You know, just go out there, ask them a question. They're ready to just answer it. They're not going to judge. You're not going to care, like, why are you asking me that? Like, you're not going to come across that person. No. And you won't. And you won't.
If you do, it's okay still. Exactly. And that's the like moral of the story, just right?
Walk away.
Like, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna die, and it's just a conversation that happened. It's literally just a moment in time.
And plus, it's gonna build you up to be able to talk to more people, get more comfortable with, you know, so become more comfortable socially, and the mess ups, and actually leading into actual experiences. Who knows? You can meet your next best friend, your next lifelong partner, you know, by doing these things, just by starting off with you went up and talked to an older person. Now you went up and talked to that guy over there that seems really happy all the time. Like, hey man, how do you stay so happy? What do you do for, you know, just ask questions, and that leads you off to this domino effect of people, amazing people that you can meet in the future. So it all just starts with you getting out of that little comfort zone and sparking up a little conversation. Like you said, with your little gas station clerk that you just always ignore, and just hand over some cash and walk away.
Like, come on,
so
guys.
Autopilot. We treat humans like they're just robots.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness.
I mean, some might be NPCs.
Some might be.
That's a different conversation.
That is a different conversation. No, but still, spark up a conversation. Even NPCs. Even
if it was an NPC.
In video games, you can
get
a nice
something. NPC, hang out with them, say something.
Exactly. Like in video games, they're going to give you a little reward or something, exactly. Right? A little side quest mission or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you'll never know if you don't try.
If you don't do it. Exactly.
So, either way, it'll reap benefit.
And I think that's pretty much what it ties into, guys. So think about these 5 regrets, you know, challenge basically kind of given by Harvey. Go up to someone, just talk to someone, you know, spark up that conversation, ask that question, do that thing.
Bring more, and now that you've heard this, you know, you're gonna be more conscious about the next time you just walk past another human, like it's just nothing, you know. And it starts by just doing that, just minimizing these regrets. Think about those 5 things. Now you have a challenge at the end of the episode.
It is the shoulda coulda like mindset, right?
Yeah.
Even I noticed too. I have like a tendency to be like, you know, thinking about the past. I'm like, but then I'm like, who cares? Like,
yeah. Oh, I hate thinking that.
Why should I even?
But I like how. For like when you guys start consciously doing this, like you'll notice that it comes a lot quicker, you know, rather than,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like
instead of going down the line of events that are not even real. Exactly. They're not real, guys. Think about that. You're literally just wasting time thinking about thoughts that could never change.
Yep.
You can never go back. You can't. Literally nothing you can do.
Exactly. And it's like, oh man, with me, it's like the moment something happens, that I'm like, dang. should have done, like, it's quick. This. Like, it comes to me quick. I don't like, a week doesn't pass by. I'm like, damn, what if I would have, like, we see it sooner, like, we feel it sooner, and it's like, why didn't I just do this, or why couldn't I have just done that, you know? And it's
I think that's the bridge too.
Yeah, it's actually listening to that point and being like, all right, next time for sure need to do it this
do it. Literally, it's just do it. Shout out to Nike.
Just do it for real. No, we're not sponsored by them. Get that.
no, that's true. Nike sponsors first. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like we were saying, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. It goes the longest way. Leave us ratings on anywhere you listen to these podcasts.
Share this with someone who is in their comfort zone. Share that to your friend that you've been trying to get out there to do some things with. You know, and be like, hey, look, I told you need to get out there and do something before you regret it on your deathbed.
Dang. And, I would have been like, damn, man. It's 7 a.m. Why are you telling me all this?
Yeah, right, for real. Nah, but yeah.
No, but that's a good friend right there. I hope you know.
Oh yeah,
that is a good friend. So they want you to do. They want you better. They want you to do better. You should want it for yourself. And you know, sometimes you need that push.
Exactly.
So be that push. Be that push. Be that effect that made someone's day better. Like, you know what? I did. You know, I avoided a regret in my life.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool that you can do that for someone.
Exactly.
But that's pretty much it, guys.
That's it. Thanks for listening, everyone.